Welcome to Secunia's Patch Tuesday webinar for the Microsoft Patch Tuesday from March 2011. My name is Stefan Frei. I'm Research Analyst Director at Secunia. Yesterday we had a rather light Patch Tuesday. Microsoft released 3 bulletins for March 2011. So we had bulletins MS11-015 2-017. The severity rating of all 3 bulletins is highly critical, and exploit code or consistent exploit code is likely for all of them according to Microsoft. The bulletins affect Windows operating systems and components. This is 2 bulletins, and 1 bulletin is about Microsoft Office Groove. We have 2 general types of exploitation affecting those 3 bulletins. One is victim just has to open a malicious Microsoft digital video recording file or an MPEG file, and the other bulletins affect insecure library loading vulnerabilities known since August last year. Is this a vulnerability? The victim just needs to open malicious content according to the vulnerable application from a remote SMB or web dev share that's under control of the attacker. Let's look at the individual bulletins. MS11-015, it's Microsoft Windows DirectShow or Windows Media Type vulnerability. Basically it's 2 vulnerabilities. One was privately reported, the other one was reported externally. So, Microsoft Windows DirectShow Media 2 vulnerabilities. It affects Windows XP, Vista 7 and Server 2008. Consistent exploit code is likely according to Microsoft. DirectShow loads certain vulnerabilities in an insecure manner. This can be exploited to load arbitrary libraries, DLLs, by tricking the user into opening specific files like an MPEG file located on a remote web dev or SMB share that's under control of the attacker. Further, there's an unspecified error which exists in the stream buffer engine. This is exploited when digital video recordings are parsed. These are .dvr-ms files. This vulnerability is highly critical, exploitable from remote, and it provides system access. It was published yesterday. MS11-016, it's Microsoft Office Groove, again insecure library loading vulnerability. It affects Microsoft Office 2007 and Microsoft Office Groove 2007. So it is confirmed in version 2007. Other versions, however, may also be affected. Again, consistent exploit code is likely according to Microsoft. The vulnerability is caused due to the application loading a library that can be provided by the attacker through a SMB or web dev share. So it's again tricking the user to do so. We will talk later how we could prevent them. Again, this vulnerability is highly critical, can be exploited from remote and provide system access. This vulnerability is more than half a year old. It was first disclosed in August 2010. The last bulletin, 017, it's affecting the remote desktop client, again insecure library loading vulnerability. This one affects all recent Microsoft Windows operating systems. This is XP, Vista 7 for clients and Server 2003 and 2008. Again, a consistent exploit code is likely according to Microsoft. This vulnerability can be exploited to load arbitrary libraries by tricking the user into opening an RDP or remote desktop configuration files. Typically they end with .rdp, located on a web dev or on a SMB share. So this is highly critical vulnerability, especially if you have users that use remote desktop and that they can open such shares from remote, that they are affected or threatened. This vulnerability was again disclosed yesterday with the availability of the patch. So prioritization. Generally, all 3 vulnerabilities are highly critical and all 3 bulletins have consistent exploit code likely or already available. With 2 vulnerabilities of the insecure library loading type, we can remediate it by limiting SMB and WebDAV file sharing at the parameter. This will effectively limit the potential attack vectors for those two vulnerabilities before you can deploy the patch. In general, it's a bad idea to have SMB WebDAV shares open. If you need to have them open, make sure that it is only to trusted partners. So the prioritization, we would distinguish two types, so in general and for users of remote desktop. In general, we consider the DirectShow vulnerability builder as the most important to patch, and then the Microsoft RDP, and then the Office vulnerabilities. However, for users of remote desktop, due to the prevalence and due to the ease how to exploit it, we would recommend that you first deploy this patch and then in the same sequence the other two patches. Again, as always, a small summary at the end. It was 3 bullet tests that we reported. Here you find the bullet test IDs, CVEs, and the Secunia advisory IDs with our criticality rating, the impact rating, and the attack vector, together with the exploitability index from Microsoft and a short summary on which operating systems or programs are affected. It was a short Patch Tuesday. Thank you for that, and thank you for your attention.